Hello, folks. Video criticism have existed ever since in the early 1900s by the first people to spoke about criticism on an article. But in today's world, that article has turned into an internet machine. Now, since YouTube was made, many people online will give their opinions on movies, and it's since been the standard of content creation for many generations to come. It was an extremely simple concept. Watch a movie, leave your opinions, and repeat. Like, everyone could do that. It's very simple. Nowadays, the public sentiment said that everyone can be a critic, which is remaining as true because of the internet, and you no longer have to be qualified for a job, or you just need to upload something online that everyone could see. We are in this time and place where humans seek thoughts that can be shaped by individuals with their influence. Most of us are curious what individuals' thoughts are on this said art, even if they're dead wrong. For this topic, I'd like to cover a YouTuber that I've been following for the past years, that being First Class Junk. For those who don't know about First Class Junk is an internet movie reviewer which his content mainly consists of focused around critiquing anime and movies. However, in some regards, some folks don't like First Class Junk that much for his opinions, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. The reason I pick First Class Junk for this topic of this video is because that First Class Junk don't really get a lot of recognition nor get some credit in any videos. Nor I don't think First Class Junk is ever talked about. It's really because First Class Junk is much more of a smaller channel if you compare to other bigger channels. He's getting left out while other bigger creators got some documentaries. So First Class Junk, if you're watching this is for you. But first, I want to talk about a small little history of First Class Junk. So, I guess without a further ado, let's get into contemporary junk. From humble beginnings, his channel is created in July the 15th, 2020, alongside with his first debut of his and only review on a video game, the SpongeBob movie video game. He said throughout the video about critiquing about the SpongeBob video game. By the end of the video, he summed it up as a great video game, but by far the most challenging one too.
If you're a fan of the show, I'm sure you've seen it and you know it's a great movie.
After that, there was just nothing. He was just ghosted for like 3 years, until his comeback on the review on The Flash and Ruby Gilman on the same week. And thus, his first rant video is him ranting about Son of the Mask. Over the course of his videos, he decided to explore the world of trash movies, and he explained what makes them so bad, and coming to the conclusion if they're worth watching or not, hence the name. Which brings First Class Junk today. Now I know what you're wondering, what makes First Class Junk so special if he gained a small but big enough following? What is good about First Class Junk? In my opinion, his best strength for him, what I believe that most other critics on YouTube don't have, and that being curiosity. Curiosity in a sense of that he ponders of how each movie was made before lashing his criticism. And in my opinion, these are the best type of criticism I like to hear more about. Sure, in very quick conversations, you could just jump into a conclusion, but in First Class Junk's case, he demonstrates by researching of the film and its production history. Like, he didn't even need to do that, but he did. Of course, I'm talking about the much more general audience when it comes to that, but still, like, most people, when I talk about movies and such, will jump to a conclusion without getting any grounds or insights of the making of the film. And in my opinion, his food fight video is the best research video, and personally, I think this is the better video that he has to offer. He demonstrates his frustrations about food fights' poor production value, and yes, I strongly do agree with him. And if you really think about it, when it comes to like making movies, over ambitions is just going to ruin your film, and as a result, What Food Fight become is a cesspool of envy of being like the next Toy Story or Shrek. He has a very good point. Another reason would be the reviews themselves. While yes, the majority of videos are just him ranting about animated kids movies, but occasionally he does talks about masterpieces that he holds value, and in more interesting cases for his video, for example his video on when media goes too far, he goes on about the aspects of film being used as consumer slop rather than events.
You know, there's a specific memory that many people cherish about Blockbuster. And this was going to the store on a Friday night and carefully picking out a movie, and then getting a takeaway on the way home. All of this included physical interaction. And again, although you're consuming media, at least you're getting out of the house in some way beforehand. And that one movie was the entertainment for the night. You had no other choice. You can just exit the movie on the app and pick another. And this gave the sole movie more importance to movie night. Often people would pick a movie just by the cover of it, and not by the reviews. And sadly the internet has kind of ruined that aspect of it.
That is very agreeable, especially when it comes to like streaming services, which kind of does ruin a lot of the cinemas and the outdoor activities, and the sense of wonder that he wants to convey to the audience. I know it's a very simple point he made about the world's economy today, but yeah, I do agree what he has to say about this. Additionally, another good thing about First Class Junk, in my opinion, is that he shares his perspective on media, even if his opinions are much more on the controversial side. Now, to be clear, he isn't trying to rage bait you. For example, for this proof, his review on the Wild Robot, and he stated that in his opinion, the Wild Robot has an interesting concept but completely falls apart for him. Personally, I think the Wild Robot is a great film, but I understand some aspects can turn him off. In fact, in my first experience, I thought the animals with voices at the beginning is just so annoying, and when Brightbill just scream, it is just by far the most irritating part of the entire film. They just stole it from Monsters vs. Aliens. That scream, man.
Watch it!
Though I did warm up to it, but however, I know this is his controversial take, but it's in his perspective. Again, he isn't trying to make something the movie it's not. He is clearly trying to give an opinion. Another take, Wonka, and I actually end up agreeing with his take. Granted, this movie has the right director, Paul King, and Timothy Chalamet is an amazing actor, like in every movie appearance, but Wonka is another one of those films in 2023 that they want to tickle the brainless consumers' nostalgia with a plotline that is pretty clunky and doesn't really gotta do anything with Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Now, Wonka is the least egregious example because at least it has something to add to the franchise. Well, sort of, but just kinda gave up halfway through. Honestly, I actually just ended up forgetting about Wonka for a while, and that can't really go to show how much an afterthought Wonka has become. It may be fun for a watch. If it's going to be in your memory vein, it's not going to last very long. First Class Junk was being honest with his take, and he isn't trying to go too far either spectrum. He doesn't hate it and he doesn't love it. He gives this more nuanced perspective with Wonka, and he says that it is objectively not the worst film when it comes to the nostalgia factor. Side note, he also argues that people arguing is because of nostalgia is the best argument in his opinion. Now, I am unsure with this take, but if it's their enjoyment, so I'm not too bothered by it. And hell, I even feel nostalgia for some other purposes, even they aren't very good. But he still says it's not objectively good as a movie written-wise or on par with the two previous films that came before. First Class Junk isn't trying to trick you to think something it's not, but rather it shows why he thinks this way with an unbiased manner. He doesn't try to say, Willy Wonka is the best thing since Jesus' birth, and say everything good about this movie and nothing negative. That's glazing and gatekeeping. Like, you really have to look at the difference between the tone and language he uses. If he was rage baiting, his title would say, Wonka is the best movie of all time. The old stuff suck. Like, it just can't really devoid of logic. Like, you just can't go 5 for Spectrum and just give it a label. And I'll be honest, that's pretty lazy criticism. The reason why I'm bringing this topic up is because in the modern world of the internet today, 5 for Spectrum, people just criticize but without like holding any grounds or weights. Especially when it comes to much more a serious conversation with real movie fans. So fortunately, we have first class junk. Now in this segment of this video, I want to address about his controversies around in his The Wild video. Now again, don't go harass these people, I'm gonna blur their names out. However, the harassment First Class Junk got was just kind of unhinged. I hated to break it with you guys, but I don't get the logic when people think that online critics are just as bad or as the trendy influence, therefore gets lashed out every time a negative review or they disapprove a product. Now again, nostalgia or disagreeing is one thing, but the second thing, if you try to tell the person is wrong by expressing themselves, it's simply just diabolical. I'm not saying that you can't disagree or you can't be objective from like your favorite YouTuber, but telling that,
No, you're an idiot. I hate you. You can't criticize it. It's a kid's movie. Stop criticizing stuff like this.
buddy, you come to the wrong club. This ain't reaction slop, this is using your brain club. First Class Junk did state that you can disagree with him, and he is totally honest with you guys. I seriously just don't get these type of arguments. Sure, you could be as harsh as you want, and that's probably partly because of positive toxicity, which I usually don't tolerate on this channel. Look guys, it's fine, it's okay to be positive, it's okay, it's fine. In the past of my channel, I got some negative feedback from the comments, and I want to highlight this in my Astro Train video. Well, I got some of the math wrong. It's not 100 minutes, it's 1 hour and 40 minutes. So I did got the math wrong. So feedback is good, just don't be pretentious about it. And guess what? It doesn't affect me, but it's just something that I just missed out. So I'm glad you guys actually pointed this out. Now, if I was being pretentious, I'm going to tell them that no, I'm going to play defense here. Now, I know I'm digressing, but I'm using myself as an example, just to get my point across about feedback is good. Sure, the worst objective part about First Class Junk is the editing. In my opinion, his editing does feels like a PowerPoint presentation at some points, and some are just kinda flat. Of course, I'm not just being mean, I'm just criticizing, but if I was being mean, I would say, your editing sucks, and you suck too! There's a middle ground between explaining if you trust this belief, and crying over something that doesn't affect you in a Jurassic level. I am upset today because Mr. Cynical Cyberbully ruined my favorite childhood film!
Where? You like that? Huh? You like that? Where?
I know at this very point that I've been absolutely glazing the hell out of First Class Junk, but there's this one video that's an absolute outlier. One video. This video just made me question what is the thought progress in him. Ladies and gentlemen, as I like to present you his video review on Sonic 3.
My god.
There I go!
Movie.
I know I've been saying that First Class Junk doesn't do reviews to hop on trends, but in this case, this is where he slip up, and as myself as a Sonic stan, this is gonna be one hell of a take. And the things he actually said is unbelievable. Let's watch why he thinks that way, before getting any more cloud judgments.
My god. What was that movie? This is definitely another Wild Robot situation. If you guys like this movie and you're subscribed, you might as well just unsubscribe now or go over with and... As my mate said, it's so insufferable. It's one of the most like insufferable films ever. Every second of it is so grating and annoying.
Okay, we are already starting at an over-exaggerated acclaim, but go on.
Side note guys, cinema etiquette by the way. Sonic 3 is the third installment of the Sonic franchise. The first one came out just before COVID, I remember, and it was quite a big success. People liked the film.
Okay, you got the fact right, but I don't know why are you using the ugly Sonic trailer, but okay.
After all the bullying that happened.
What bullying? Later I've already said about the negative feedback. I mean, why do you think this design so hated Sherlock?
About the design and stuff, and then the second one came out and people like that a bit more, and then I think there's like a Knuckles series or something, and again I don't know how the hell you managed to squeeze a whole series about that character. But yeah, no, Sonic 3, why is it so bad? It's just lifeless, annoying drivel, actually shockingly like just like creatively bankrupt and just low energy, especially like, you know, the fight scenes and stuff. There's no punch or like edge to anything.
What are you talking about exactly? Like, you're just starting to pick on a fight scenes and claim that it's lifeless. Are you sure? Because the team used Blender to make the animation, and if you compare to the previous Sonic movies, the lighting is just so much cleaner. Sonic vs. Shadow in the Tokyo scene is very smooth and very easy to read. Like, I don't understand why you use the word lifeless when all the characters are extremely expressive and the fight between Sonic and Shadow is fluid and dynamic. If it was lifeless, the characters were just standing doing nothing all day, and then you could have called it lifeless. Also, you have to understand that making a CGI character in real life is a challenge, and to make the audience believe that character can coexist with our universe, which Sonic executed perfectly. Like, I know you won't complain about the signs, but you were complaining about the animation being lifeless. That's very far from the truth. Are you sure? Because compared to a certain film you could have seen, Mufasa, because I know you've seen The Lion King. Literally, compared to the animation to Mufasa, yep, it's just night and day. One is so much more expressive than the other, there's just no comparison. In fact, this fight scene between Sonic and Shadow is actually very creative, because the stakes gets higher of Shadow lifting Sonic, then a high-speed chase, and then a battle on the tower. The stakes get higher, and that's what makes it so engaging. Also, by the way, do you have a script with you? You sound like man creates fictional scenario and gets angry about it.
All the characters are just so like surface level. Like many other like animated kids films or just like kids films, they try and juggle so many things. I don't even know why like the James Marsden character's still in it. Like they're trying to do like the Dave Seville, and it's like,
who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
What the f are you talking about? This is a video game adaptation, not a fairy tale. Plus, these characters aren't so surface level. If you have watched the previous Sonic movie, which you obviously didn't, the Sonic franchise as a core is about coming of age, where Sonic is different from what he is before. Basically trial and error, to a loner to carrying with hope and fighting against who trespass Sonic, and Sonic standing up for himself.
my friend made a good point. This film feels like the first movie. Like obviously there's things that happen that we don't know about. For the record, this is the only one I've seen, but it's like, it feels like this is the first film. Like, just get rid of James Marsden. Like, what's the point of him being in it? Like,
Okay,
I mean, this is just one of the dumbest comments I've ever seen. You haven't even seen the film, for God's sake.
Are you fucking kidding me? You haven't seen the first movie, and now you're just realizing before you make this review? Yeah, just because you've seen Sonic 3 does not mean you give the excuse to call it bad, but you haven't seen the previous Sonic movies and the Knuckles TV series as an extension. It's like saying that you just want to watch Revenge of the Sith, but you only watch it for the iconic fight scene that the internet hyped it up, but you're missing the entire context of the entire Star Wars prequel trilogy, and then you have the audacity to say to call it bad just because the plot doesn't make any sense. It's just so backwards logic. I'm sorry, how exactly are you going to get rid of James Marsden? He's essential for the entire Sonic franchise, and he's been the Sonic father figure. Of course Sonic feels angry when Shadow nearly killed Tom. Like, this is the only father figure Sonic have looked up to, which also causes the Shadow to remind about Maria as he lost his own family.
Just for the most part, it's like why should we care about this character? Like you've spent like no time on this character for this movie, and it's...
Yes, you do! Okay, let's count off what Tom has been doing with Sonic throughout Sonic 3, shall we? Okay, they set up as a campfire scene. They're doing a race so they could surprise Sonic with his birthday. Then they've agreed to go into disguise, as Tom go in disguise and receive what they needed. Then Tom gets seriously injured by Shadow just because he mistransformed into the wrong person. And at the end, it turns out that he is alright, just but seriously injured. So no, he does play as a crucial role, as well again, being the father figure to Sonic. Okay, Mr. First Class Junk, you said that you spent no time on this character for this movie. If Tom didn't spend any time with Sonic, then he would not interact with Sonic, nor then Tom would just have like 1 minute of screen time, but the screenwriters make sure that he gets just enough screen time. He's not entirely part of the plot, but he is crucial for Sonic's character. So, no, I don't get what you're saying. At this point, just see Mufasa. I'm pretty sure you have a better time than that.
And then we've got like, you know, Sonic and stuff, and like Sonic is the most annoying character in the whole film because all he does is give out constant quip after quip after quip, like everything. It's just like, it's level of like, guys, he's standing right behind me, isn't he? And it's just like, yeah, okay. And it's like, it just never ends. There's like no ending to it, and it's just like, it's just ridiculous.
Hey, don't diss Ben Schwartz. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. Sonic is not a dipshit. He clearly cares about Tom and his friends because it's the only family they have to him, as he lost Longclaw, but even then, nobody knows what Sonic's parents is. Like, I'm sorry, the annoying part, again, his quirks don't really overshadow the entire movie. It's just a character trait, and this is what Sonic acts. He sometimes undermines what his foe sees, and realizing the foe or obstacle are much more challenging than he anticipated. And again, that scene where he met Shadow, until coming full circle at the moon. If Sonic doesn't have any of these quirks, then Sonic 3 is a bad representation of Sonic the Hedgehog as a character, then it's not a faithful adaptation.
Tails is in this, and he's one of the most, one of the least annoying characters actually. You know, he's just there, and then Knuckles, like, his character is just, I'm tough. We all make jokes about how I'm tough, but then we will do a Family Guy cutaway to when we watched Casper and I was not the tough one. It's just like, yeah, whatever, man.
Right. What did he say? Right.
Look, I appreciate your position, First Class Junk, but you cannot just review a movie that you haven't seen the entire trilogy of it.
Then we have like the crowning achievement of shit in this movie, which is Shadow, played by Keanu Reeves, and that's one of the main issues of the film. The script is just so terrible, so derivative. It's just like, yeah, plan to destroy the world. It's like, yes, we have seen this. We have seen kids' film. We have seen this.
Sure, I know you could criticize the story being surface level, but that still doesn't make it a bad story. It just needs to be well executed. Again, you don't really understand the character. Shadow is not an evil version of Sonic. He's not just that. The reason why he wants to destroy the world is simply because of his loss for his family member and him feeling alienated because everyone sees him as a threat, as a danger threat, except for Maria, which she died. And if you actually know Shadow, that's what he wants in life, that he could return back to see Maria once again, to see his family member that he truly loves and values. He wants to destroy the world so he can have revenge on humanity for losing the one he loves, which conveys the message that revenge is not ideal for taking over for someone who trespasses you. And again, and if you actually think about it, Sonic and Shadow are fighting for the same reason. He's not technically an evil Sonic, no.
Yeah, played by Keanu Reeves, who is just so incredibly awful in this movie. He's never really been a great actor anyway. He's never really been a great actor anyway.
I'm going to kill you and then kill you again.
You know, I'll give Sonic 3 the benefit of the doubt. So many people have said, oh yeah, this one's actually pretty good. Like Shea Frillis, I watched this whole review, and no hate to Shea Frillis. I think, you know, when he analyzes movies, especially ones he's like passionate about, he can really like give out good opinions and bring something new to the table, which there's points where I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that, or I didn't like realize like it was this way and like why it was that good.
Well, yes, you're right about Shea Frillis Productions, and yes, I do consider him as a good critic. And yeah, there are some opinions I don't agree with him. Shea Frillis, what did we talk about Disney about Cars as a franchise?
You know, he rated this an 8 out of 10. Like an 8 out of 10. You're saying this is a great movie. Like films I've rated 8 out of 10 is like the first Shrek and like Ratatouille and stuff like that, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Like these are like great animated films, and I just feel sorry for kids, man, because like I just grew up, and like, you know, I'm sure many of you guys watching this grew up at like sort of like the golden age of like the CGI like animated movies. Huh? And like, of course, there was always some duds in there, like, you know, Alvin and the Chipmunks films and stuff. But we had so many good films coming out constantly, and it's just like this year, 2024, has been absolutely dire. And it was like we had the choice between this and Mufasa, and now Mufasa could genuinely be better than this.
Told you so.
And I hate the live-action remake films, which I think I might make a video on.
No!
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 Oh, we are not. No!
This is a video game adaptation based on a trilogy which Sonic the franchise as a whole existed for 35 years, and yet you have literal no self-awareness about this. Geez, have you ever wondered why people are so hype about this film? Because it's something what they want out of a Sonic film. Sure, some Sonic fans can criticize this film, Sonic 3, without mentioning like Sonic Adventure, and instead going on to Sonic Adventure 2. Look, I get it, but like, it's just really boring if you try to like remake in another game. Plus, I don't know how else can you make a Sonic Adventure being a third film when the opportunity is right over here. So I think the director picking Sonic Adventure 2 is the much more natural choice, in my opinion. Okay, I rate this film as 11 out of 10, no questions asked. It is kind of strange for you that you compare to Shrek, Ratatouille, and Puss in Boots. It's not really the best comparison you could make, but okay.
Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey, he is also so annoying, and there's two of him, and it's like every single scene is just so unfunny. Like that laser scene, like who's laughing at that, guys? Come on, man. It's just so like outdated, like just bot humor. No one was laughing at that. I think that was the other issue why very funny. So bad.
What do you mean like out of date humor? I mean, you could say like the much more pop songs played in. What are you referring to? Plus, no one laughed. In my cinema experience, everyone did laugh every time Jim Carrey showed up.
I remember laughing as a kid when there was like, you know, there was a good funny movie. You know, I laughed at, stuff like, I guess like Megamind.
Excuse me? Like nobody cares. Nobody cares.
It's like for a film which is so like derivative, so like childish, like so weak in every aspect, to try and add a story about a kid who literally gets like killed because of Shadow.
No, because of the military. The kid you're referring to is Maria. Ugh, God.
is just like, it's just ridiculous. Like why on earth would they add something like that? Well, like, you know, Shadow feels bad that he was the reason that she got killed, but like, it's almost just like shocking. Like, why would you add that to Sonic 3? It's really ridiculous. Like, really ridiculous that someone thought, yeah, that's good. We're gonna just shove that into like a film which is so like childish and silly, like for the whole other runtime.
Oh my gosh, a kid got killed because of Shadow. Like, why would they put that in a Sonic 3 movie?
And it's like something like The Incredibles. I know someone might say, well, The Incredibles had someone, you know, trying to off themselves, like, you know, jumping off the building, and Mr. Incredible saves him, and he claims, I didn't want to be saved. But it's like, that film treats the audience so much more maturely. It's got a way better balance of like humor and like more serious points.
What? Why do you compare it to a screen to a scene where Shadow loses Maria? How's that compare? Like, there's no comparison between The Incredibles and Sonic 3 other than the action scenes. The whole plot is different from each other. The Incredibles, it's more about Bob trying to find his footing, being the superhero and seeing the good again. Like, what got into you? Like, what crack did you take today?
And yeah, that's about it, guys. If you guys have any comments or questions you want to ask me, you guys may hate me after this one, but you know, I'll always be honest with my opinion. But yeah, no, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good one.
You bastard. You put me into insanity. And don't pretend that this is all in good faith, then you just wrap it around. You just committed a sin that you could never commit again. You just commit something and say stupid stuff. Come on, you're better than this. I know this is way longer in this segment than it needs to be of me ranting and reacting towards First Class Junk's Sonic 3 video, but I just need to get this thing off my chest. This video, by far the worst video essay he has put out on his channel. It is so bad in a comical level. And by the end of the day, what do you even take out from this video? So he basically just sums up as Sonic 3 is bad just because it has a surface level plot and unlikable characters. Yeah, he just gives very basic criticism that holds no weight at all. I know I've been like ranting and reacting this more than the actual video essay itself, so in some regards I apologize for that, and this is probably by far my most angriest video I've probably made so far, but
it's junk. First class junk.
So overall, what do I think of First Class Junk? I'll be honest with you, First Class Junk is not everybody's cup of tea, and sure, I found some of his critiques and criticisms a little too one-year points, like, for example, my god, this film is so bad and the characters are so unlikable. I don't know, maybe it's because that he has a British accent. Sure, I was a little harsh with him with the last segment, but I've saved one thing for last. For those who don't know, my backstory for First Class Junk, my history with him, in 2023 I was a part of a film club in my school. I was trying to learn about film criticism online, and it just happens that First Class Junk happened to post the videos around the time about anime and movies. I find it easy to understand and bingeable for my own thinking skills, so I take heavily inspiration, particularly in my letterbox, which you should follow me by the way on letterbox. Just take a few baby steps and hit the following button. Come on, it's right here. Just hit it. Just hit it. If you read around my early reviews around 2023 to 2024, you might see a bit of First Class Junk influence, as I tend to, at the end of reviews, I tend to classify if a film is First Class Junk. I was just stealing his lightning, but of course, I soon learned to found my own voice on this website, and ditching the First Class Junk because I'm plagiarizing and I might get banned from it. Sure, by the end of the day, First Class Junk doesn't have the best storytelling or the best editing or sometimes the best humor in some cases, but he has a heart. He may not be the best of everything in all worlds, but for being my first reviewer and my first critic, he actually did help me a lot along the way that I needed for my skills, because without First Class Junk, or perhaps like Sheffield Productions, or any others, but really mainly First Class Junk that really got me into films and reviews. So, thanks, First Class Junk. So that's everything I got to say. I still think your Sonic 3 video is junk.
It's junk. First class junk.